So you probably heard or saw hefty amounts of leaks on Twitter, or should I say X.com and YouTube, about version 1.4 of Wuthering Waves, coming from users who reposted the tweet from the source of the leak, and also content creators uploaded the video in regards to leaks, especially gameplays of Lumi and Camellia, OSTs and voice lines for 1.4, and events as well, which I myself was also included because I also made one video a few days ago. But other than that, majority of the community, especially the Wuthering Waves community, don't like these kinds of engagements as it will ruin their excitement on what's gonna come in future updates of the game. Now, as for my community, they do like the idea of leaks, so for them to be fully prepared on who are they gonna pull, which materials will they get, what echo sets would you give to them, but at the same time, too much can be detrimental to the excitement of each players, game's future progress, and also the innovation that developers have to make the game better for us to enjoy. Suffice to say, these posters will post the same content, coming from the users or from the leakers itself as a way to increase engagement, but also creating mishaps that might piss off a certain community that would result into a massive debate. Possibly that these reposters could be a troll account or clout chasers, whatever you might call them. Now, I actually made a video 3 months ago about leaks, and I mentioned in the video about the pros and cons of leaked content to the public. You could say that leaked content is a double-edged sword because not only you generate hype, bringing in new players to try out this game and also towards the current player base, now that they know what's gonna come on the next update, but at the same time, it would disrupt the developer's progress and chances that someone or somewhere will take advantage of this info and use it in different way to create a false information, which now becomes an annoyance these days, especially when wuwa came out since May. And I would like to also add another reason as to why gacha games in general are predatory in relates to this discussion is because it limits the information for the players if it's worth to get this character on their team building or not. Banners, kits, and characters, I mean, they're still good. At the very least, you know when to spend your saved asteroids and resources for leveling it throughout these past few months, even though you won't be able to get all of them as a free-to-play, unless you're a whale, of course. But for story content, that is a big no-no. It will ruin the experience for everyone. But of course, it all comes down to your preference, so I'm not going to judge you guys. And because of this, a user listed down the following users who were reposting the leak content for the person who leaked 1.4 in the first place, even suggesting to block them so that you won't see the repost every often, but the reality is that players nowadays don't seem to care much about it, as it now becomes a common norm for the majority since Fate Grand Order or Grand Blue was released, and be like, oh, there's a leak, and then a few days later, nah, I don't care. And yet, I'm still following them regardless, cause all I see right now is competition against each one another. Same goes to making content that had the same idea, like this glizzy here, and I don't feel like there's community solidarity to work out on these situations and to deal with it. Now, because of this, I recently saw a tweet and it states that Kuro Games are now taking legal action against leakers who broke the non-disclosure agreement and breaching terms of services. Surprisingly, back in the early PGR days before Wuthering Waves was announced, a user on X made a tweet about Kuro Games' legal actions towards leakers who were leaking content punishing Grey Wave with closed beta tests, but it ended up not in a good way. A student who participated in a closed beta test broke the non-disclosure agreement and leaked the game's content. When they were told that they're going to sue him for breaking non-disclosure agreement, as I mentioned earlier, he decided to, you know what, I'm going to run to suicide now. And it became a big incident. Because of this, Kuro Games decided not to take any legal action against the leaks, and CM players used this incident to mock them, at the same time ruining their business reputation, and it's now become a meme thing in the Chinese player base. Now, I did repost this, and I quote, NDA is still NDA, and since you've taken the contract, it's your responsibility to take accountability in this predicament. So you're telling me that the only way for you to escape legal action is to threaten the company to kill yourself if they made a final decision against you. Honestly, it's so stupid. I mean, imagine that. In video games, you can face any challenges or difficulties or whatsoever because you're the self-insert main character of the harem or whatsoever in any play you game. But in real life, you are nothing but a pussy, an incel, an extremist towards female players, and a coward that doesn't want to take accountability on your actions that you've committed. Shame on you. And to be fair, both sides are at fault on this situation. not the student itself, nor Kuro Games itself. If Kuro Games tighten the rules on NDA and giving access of close beta progress towards the players, they should put those players who signed the contract under constant surveillance to ensure that they won't do anything suspicious, especially on leaking content that are not supposed to show to the public. Then again, I don't think it's gonna work out well. Regardless of the outcome that Kuro Games has done to minimize the damage of leaking contents from leakers, even if it's against NDA, no one cares about it, especially the community and also the player base who are already used to this kind of norm ever since when FGO or Grand Blue came out. But like I said, it's always a double-edged sword when it comes to leaks. Regardless of these outcomes, it's a win-win for both sides of good and bad, while the devs are getting wary of all the people do just to garner clout. Worst that will come out of something like this is misinformation, which we all know is a cesspool of uneducated remarks, takes and hearsays, especially that specific gacha subreddit and other doom posters who are now scattering in any social media platform. So, again, I don't care about those. I just have to mind my own business, play the game that you guys wanted to enjoy. I don't give a fuck about it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. If this content piques your interest, feel free to hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell icon so you won't miss any new content on my channel, whether a gacha game or variety games. And I also have my own Twitch channel and also Twitter, so feel free to follow. So yeah, see you guys in the next video. Take care and stay safe. Goodbye.